from Rolling Stone's Economics, and we're going to go over, Chris White's going to go over a junior at Malvern Prep, question number 2 from this year's AP Macro test. Chris, assume that country official land produces only 2 goods, consumer goods and capital goods. The graph shows the PPC for official land, the production of which exhibits increasing opportunity costs. Consumer goods only, capital goods only, both goods or neither good.
All right, so we're going to direct our attention to this PPC right here. This PPC right here represents increasing opportunity costs. We'll abandon it. If it didn't represent it, it would be a straight constant right there. And for question A, it will represent both consumer and capital goods for that. So.
Chris, B, can you show a point that represents fully employed and efficiently used resources and label it point A?
All right, so right here on the optimal employment, full efficiency level, I labeled point A, so that would represent that level for question B and what we're hoping for that economy.
Chris, question number C. Now let's assume there's a recession in Fisherland. On the graph, and can you label it point C, a point that represents the recession?
Okay, so here represented by the recession, we'll have, it'll be operating within the full optimal employment level, and I'll put C right here. And as you can see, there will not be a line there because there will be optimal and full employment.
Okay, Chris, that's very good. Chris, on that graph, we want to thank Chris White for bringing that graph into us during our review sessions. All right, Chris, 2 more. D, can you identify a fiscal policy that Fisherland's government can take to address this recession?
All right, well, thanks to Macroeconomics, he's going to High Point, and he gave us the expansionary fiscal policy, which we'll need to enact on this question. So as a result of the expansionary fiscal policy, which would be an increase in government spending or decrease in taxes, the aggregate demand will increase in this. And that's something we could address to bring the economy up from recession. And you can see the aggregate demand increase in that.
And finally, Chris, the last thing, we're now at that point. Let's assume that the government takes no policy actions, no discretionary policy actions. Will short-run aggregate supply increase, decrease, or remain the same? And could you give a brief explanation?
Well, wages are supply determinants. So nominal wages will increase as a result of the demand increase. As you can see from here, it will raise up aggregate demand. And to shift it back to the left, back to equilibrium, SRAS will shift back, and I'm going to draw SRSA2 to represent that, as we'll shift back to the left, and that will represent our question number 2.
And that completes question 2. Chris, excellent job.